Joe Hendry says that he will challenge John Cena after winning the TNA title tomorrow. An ex-WWE champion has addressed a racist promo they were asked to cut. And we've got some WWE SummerSlam 2024 plans for you too. It's time for the news. Joe Hendry, local hero, so prestigious, has been chatting away with Chris Jericho on Talk is Jericho, and he has made a very, very bold claim ahead of his TNA title match alongside 5 other men tomorrow night at Slammiversary.
He sure has. He says, I have a World Championship match at Slammiversary. I'm going to be in the main event. This is insane. I couldn't get on a pay-per-view 4 months ago. Now I'm in the main event for the world title at Slammiversary. And I'll tell you this now, when I win the title, I'm going to raise the title above my head. I'm going to take the microphone and I'm going to say, John Cena, you've done everything in this business, almost everything. If you want to cross the line, that is what's going to happen.
So he's actually saying there he doesn't want it in a WWE ring. He wants John Cena to head on over to Thursday nights.
Could you imagine that happening?
That'd be amazing.
It would be amazing, and it would be something. It's never going to happen.
Never in a million years.
But in this whole final run of John Cena, this farewell tour, I feel like doing something a lot different than what we've already seen from John Cena would be so cool to see at the same time.
Yeah, it would be awesome. I think there's a chance that Joe Hendry might, maybe, if Cena likes him, get a match against John Cena. I think it's a small chance, but I think it's a possibility because Joe Hendry's so hot right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of similarities between Joe Hendry and John Cena as well in the way that they carry themselves specifically. And I can see Joe Hendry impressing enough for John Cena to say, hey, let's have a 4-minute match on Raw, right?
Well, also, maybe. I guess when Joe had that interview with Chris Van Vliet as well, he spoke about how when he couldn't go to a wrestling show when he was a teenager and his friend could, his friend met John Cena and his friend called him, was like, John Cena, can you talk to Joe Hendry on the phone? And they had like a massive conversation apparently for a good 10-15 minutes, I think he said.
10-15 minutes?
And they were holding up the line? No, I'm pretty sure I might be getting the length wrong there, but I'm pretty sure. No, Joe was like, he was talking to me for a good while, and there must have been like a backlog of people waiting to come by, and Cena just took the time to talk to him about wrestling and stuff. And
that's really
cool. Already a built-in thing there, isn't it, for them? If they were to do something like that,
they've got the phone call. They've got the phone call.
That's the one.
I don't know. I genuinely, I do think it is a possibility, and Joe Hendry just stepping in the ring with John Cena, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses, what a rub. You're a made man by being given that opportunity in this period of time where Cena only has however many matches left. That's just such a big thing. Will Joe Hendry win the TNA title tomorrow night at Slammiversary? You're saying no?
No.
Okay, cool.
I feel like they just want to... I know a lot of people would say, well, you just pull the trigger whilst it's as hot as it is right now. I think there's still a little bit left in there for it to get even bigger.
Ooh.
Even bigger. And who knows what TNA have in the pipeline for Joe Hendry, but I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be incredible. And we're going to see him more on NXT as well. I mean, you could argue that, well, if he's going to show up on NXT TV more, maybe you would have the belt as well. But I think there's a little bit more. I think we might even see him challenge for the NXT Championship, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility down the line. I think they should do it personally.
Yeah.
Just because I think you strike while the iron is hot with this stuff. But people are super, super behind Joe Hendry. Maybe there is something in him losing this match in screwy circumstances to build that groundswell of support behind Joe winning the TNA title, because then it's more about putting eyes on TNA than it is putting eyes on Joe Hendry. I mean, you're achieving both, but TNA is an integral part of that, whereas right now, the big thing about Joe Hendry is the song and the meme and the appearances on NXT and stuff. I think he's done a very good job in talking about TNA and making TNA seem important, but maybe there is something in him losing tomorrow night at Slammiversary. Just in case you're unfamiliar with the match, Moose is the champ right now. It's a 6-man elimination match. Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, all in that match, as well as, of course, Joe Hendry. An ex-WWE champion, and it pains me to say that, but he is. Then a no-compete clause has expired. I'm joking. Jinder Mahal, released from WWE this past April. It feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
doesn't it? That's
longer
mental.
than that. He is about to return to in-ring competition. Writing on Twitter, he said, "Hindered no more, 90 days are up." So he's got a match coming up July 26th for Black Label Pro. It's called Old Habits Die Screaming. That's going to be his first match since the WWE departure. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know obviously it's horrible when someone gets released and loses the job and everything. I feel like me as a selfish wrestling fan is excited to see what he can do outside of that WWE bubble.
Yeah.
Wrestling wise and also maybe promo wise as well, I think see how things have developed and everything for him. So yeah, it's exciting to see how these superstars can develop.
It's cool. It seems like a horrible thing to say. I think realistically his best days are behind him. Quite often we talk about these releases with people with heaps of potential, your Codys and your Drews. They go away and they do like massive stuff and then they come back to WWE. Never say never, but I don't think that's going to be Jinder's route. But I also don't think he's going to struggle for bookings, and I think he'll have decent matches. He's not like a work rate guy or anything like that, but he's somebody that I guess people are divided on and people are a little bit passionate about. I'd be excited, right? If Jinder came close by, if he did an indie here in the UK, I'd make the journey to see Jinder.
Yeah.
Am I calling Jinder Mahal a draw? I like Jinder. I've been unfair to Jinder in the past, and I was in this video about 2 minutes ago, but best of luck to him. He has addressed a promo that you may remember ahead of SummerSlam 2017. He was cutting a promo on Shinsuke Nakamura, where he mocked Nakamura's ethnicity. There was a lot of backlash from fans regarding this. Off the back of Shelton Benjamin's recent comments where he was instructed to do a racist accent making fun of Yoshitatsu at the time. He sort of addressed that and brought it back to what he was asked to do by Vince McMahon, a very controversial promo at the time. So he's chatting away with Chris Van Vliet here.
Yes, he said there was one promo in particular, as Adam said there. Recently, I just saw Shelton Benjamin tweet that if it could take back one thing in his career, it was a promo with Yoshitatsu. Same thing, kind of like a racial promo. So that day I had the promo, I got the script from the writer. This is from Vince, he wants you to say this. I was like, oh man, I don't want to say this. Is there anything else we can do? He said, no, it's come from Vince. So I even asked Vince and said, this is going to get negative backlash. He said, no, don't worry. Who cares? It's not you, it's a character, just entertainment. So I did the promo, was not happy with it and not proud of myself for doing it. I really wish that I could take that moment back, but unfortunately I can't. Right when we came back, it got a lot of negative backlash. Like I remember coming back from Gorilla, I was still hanging out by Gorilla and one of the social media managers came up to me and said, hey, this is getting a lot of bad PR and Vince wants you to do a tweet or something, like a statement. I said, okay, cool. He came up with something, maybe the PR team wrote it, someone came up with a statement, and as we were about to tweet it, he said, actually, Vince changed his mind. He said no. So it was just one of those things where it is what it is, not proud of doing it. But on the plus side, I don't think something like that, a promo like that, will never happen in WWE again. Things changed, the regime changed, everything is much different now. This was a different era, different time. Under Vince, his style was different. Sometimes he was stuck in his ways.
Yeah, we're safe under Triple H. It's not like he's ever done blackface or any funny accents or anything like that, is it?
No.
In a racial way. Part of me is like, I get it. It is just a character. It is entertainment. And if it was a film, right? If Edward Norton played a neo-Nazi in American History X, nobody thinks that Edward Norton is a racist skinhead, right? Because he's playing a character. But it's more complicated with wrestling, and I can't quite figure out why. Maybe it's the blurred lines thing, because fans find it difficult to differentiate between the on-screen character and the person. Ultimately, if his job was to go out there, cut this promo and get heat, I don't think it worked, because I watched the promo back and it was just like people didn't care. People weren't booed. It's just like, this kind of stuff. It's just... Ultimately, I don't think it was very entertaining either. That doesn't help. It was just a really bizarre thing, an uncomfortable position to be put in for sure. So it's cool of him to address that. Again, best of luck to Jinder. moving forward, you can catch him at various indie shows in your local area, perhaps. We are going to finish things off with a bit of SummerSlam news regarding the Intercontinental title match. Apparently, despite everything that's played out on TV, there are no plans to add Ilya Dragunov to that match. It is going to be a one-on-one. Plans can change and everything, but according to Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, he said it's still Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker for the show. There is a chance that he gets added still, but it might just be that I think Bron's winning there, and Ilya might just be his first opponent following things. They might Bron might take him out of action, and then you get Ilya coming back. That's
exactly what I thought as well. I think we've already had the sort of narrative between Sami and Bron heading into the match at Money in the Bank. Sami was very much like, I'm the veteran in this whole thing. You're the new kid on the block. I've been around the block a few times. We saw Sami pick up the win there. I feel like, on a big stage like SummerSlam, a big show like SummerSlam, I think that would be a tremendous way for Bron to finally pick up the championship. And like you said, I think maybe the first feud coming out of that would be with Ilya Dragunov.
Do you think it was a mistake for Bron not to win last time?
No, because it's a bigger stage at SummerSlam, I feel like.
Yeah, but he got beat clean.
Well, he's gonna absolutely do what I think narratively, at least for me, I thought, okay, in the moment I was like, oh, that's a weird decision. And I kind of get it now in the grand scheme of things. I guess we've still yet to see the outcome of SummerSlam because something else might happen. But I feel like that being the place where he wins it and picks it up with the narrative that's being told, I think it feels right.
Yeah, fair play. I'm still undecided on Sami beating him. I don't have a problem with Sami winning matches. People have a big problem with just babyface champions retaining clean and all of that. It's not that. I think I'd have loved to see Bron squash him. Maybe we'll get that at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Maybe the plan is to make him Mr. SummerSlam, have a big SummerSlam undefeated streak. So they're holding off there. Just making stuff up now. Thanks very much for watching. See you in a bit.